Hello, everyone. Gen X Man here with another Solo Play Sunday. Welcome to Season 2 of the Hardcasers. This is a series of gameplay videos where we follow the adventures of 6 droids and a Padawan across the stars. To very quickly recap, our crew consists of our young Jedi, Cy Cordova, who just joined up last episode, our IG unit, IG-75, running security, R5BM is our pilot, aka Bomber, our MSE droid, mouse droid, named Kobe, a protocol droid named Ellie-3PO, or just Ellie, the co-pilot and mechanic R43Z, or just 3Z, and finally a power droid named Gunky. In our last episode, the crew had uncovered their secret cargo, a young Jedi being transported in a med pod, fleeing bounty hunters and numerous other dangers for sanctuary in the deep outer rim. The crew were set upon by entirely unrelated bounty hunters that shot down their ship, causing it to crash in catastrophic fashion. IG managed to take out one of the bounty hunters before he himself was zapped by an old Clone Wars era grenade, while the young Jedi Cy Cordova had a showdown with the remaining bounty hunter Vol. We rejoined the Hardcasers immediately after the events of Season 1. And scene falls, greeting us as we rejoin our intrepid droid crew. IG smolders laying halfway on and off the extended boarding ramp at the side of the nearly destroyed ship. A scant few meters away lays the lifeless form of the bounty hunter, Velgarvo, her grieving brother standing with hands in the air as Cy Cordova holds an ignited lightsaber close to the man, eliciting compliance. Cy tightens his grip on his saber. Don't try anything. Vol sneers. You win this round, kid. You and your filthy droids. But this ain't over. There's blood between us now. Cy frowns, frustrated. Your anger led you and your sister down this path. You have a chance to learn from this tragedy. If you let hatred control you, only destruction will follow. Disgusted, Vol turns away, shaking his head. You self-righteous Jedi scum. Galaxy's a better place without your lot in it. Inside the mangled freighter, 3Z has hobbled his way into the main area, finding Ellie, Kobe, and Gunky. He twitters and chirps madly. Translated, he says, Bomber's trapped. The cockpit's gone. He's buried. The droids hurry forward where they find an avalanche of dirt and debris. Beneath this calamity, they can hear the disparate whines of a trapped bomber. He sounds damaged. 3Z exclaims they have to get him out. The pile is far too heavy for the other droids. Only IG has the physical strength to move this much matter in a timely fashion. Ellie tells 3Z, You and Kobe go out and see if you can restore IG. Gunky, please stay here and continue to communicate with Bomber. I don't want him to feel abandoned. Gunky gives an aye and shuffles as close as he can to the packed soil and rock, gunking away, gonk, 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 so the bomber can hear him. Roughly translated, he says, Don't worry, buddy. They're going to fix IG so he can dig you out. Hang in there. As they traverse the ship, 3Z tells Kobe to go see to IG. He chirps. His chirps roughly translate to, You're as good a fixer as I am when it comes to us droids. Go see what you can do for IG. I'm going to see what I can do for Hardshell. She saved us. As Kobe chirps quizzically, 3Z is already plugged into the main computer attempting to diagnostic. Now, our first role is computer program repair. 3Z. 3Z's computer programming repair is 40 plus 1. So we roll our luck die and 3 other dice. 40 plus 1. Sorry, I can't show you the roll right now. And we have 18. Normally, this kind of roll would be very easy, but we are raising the difficulty as there is catastrophic damage and very little power. And 18 is more than sufficient, though. Outside, the droids huddle around IG while Sai keeps Vol prisoner. IG is severely damaged, although it's only stunning damage. I mean, he got zapped. So, this is going to be a very difficult repair roll. Kobe has some droid repair. He hasn't really had a chance to shine yet, so this is his moment to, get in there with his little tools and start zapping at points in IG and try to restore him. And Kobe's droid programming and repair are both 3D, so we're rolling the luck die and 2 other dice, and we get a 7. Obviously, this is nowhere near the level that we need to restore IG to functionality. So even though, he's determined that IG has power reserves, so his personality and his memories have been preserved. As we've seen in Ahsoka and The Mandalorian, that droids can retain their personality and memories even in the lowest power mode. So IG's still in there, but he is trapped inside a non-functional body, and it's just beyond Kobe's ability to fix. 3Z would normally be the repair guy, but his droid repair is no better than Kobe, so potato, potato. So what we're going to do is use an alternative rule within the Star Wars role-playing game rules, is where when you have a task that is way too difficult, you can break it down into longer running time. So instead of this taking 15 minutes, I'm going to bump it up to 2 hours, where Kobe's going to be sitting there working at it, and this will lower the difficulty. He'll make multiple rolls at a lower difficulty instead of one big roll. So kind of breaking it down into little bite-sized chunks. So he's going to be working on that for the next couple hours. So he's going to be busy. Due to the urgency of getting Bomber out, Kobe cannot prepare for the first roll, but he can for the next series of rolls. So, continuing. Without IG, there's no hope of digging out Bomber. Sai frowns and looks at Vol. He takes a step back and states, "Take your sister out of here. Go." The droids all turn their attention, the ones that are still outside. Vol's hands start to come down. He asks, "You're setting me free? You can't be that stupid." Sai nods towards the woods, all around. "Just go. East or west." Confused, Vol begins to scoop up the lifeless body of his sibling. "What about our fighters? Our weapons?" "No," Sai says firmly. "You'll just have to take your chances out there. Your anger and grief are blinding you. If we put a weapon in your hands, you'll simply return intent on using it. Go. Survive. Maybe learn something from all this." Without another word, Vol hefts his sister and begins marching west into the forest. Only when he's long out of sight does Sai walk back to the droids crowded around IG. "I don't know anything about droids or how to fix them," he states, "but I can help dig out your friend." He makes his way into the ship, standing before the pile of debris. Gunky looks on expectantly. Now, Sai has telekinesis, so he is going to attempt to dig out Bomber. This is going to be a difficult roll, covering about 1 metric ton, give or take. He can prepare, so he can add up to 2 dice for 2 CPs. Now, quick note, we did not use CPs in Season 1 because it was kind of a fast and loose kind of campaign. Now we're doing things slightly more within the rules, so the droids have been rewarded their CPs. They have spent a good chunk of them to improve their abilities, which we'll get into possibly in another video. So he can use some of those. You can spend 1 CP to add a dice to your rolls. And for this particular roll, you can add up to 2. So 2 CPs for 2 extra dice. And you can break down the task into 3 rolls of moderate difficulty, taking about 5 to 6 minutes total. So he's going to try the difficult roll first. Now, he only has 2 dice normally. With his however, he's going to add the 2 CPs. So he's got 4 dice. Shooting for a different. Oh, natty 6 on the luck dice. Here we go. Oh, another natty 6 on the luck dice. Oh my goodness. Goodness gracious. And a 5. So with luck dice alone, we got 17 points. So we've got 27 plus, we got 33. This is a heroic level of success. Sai outstretches his hand, eyes closed in concentration. As if by magic, the dirt and rocks begin to tremble and tumble away from Bomber. Bomber is extracted from the pile and lifted gently down in front of Gunky. Gunky prances excitedly. Gong, 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 gong. Meanwhile, Kobe has been having no luck in getting IG online, obviously. His next roll will be broken down into 7 rolls, like 3Z did for Ellie when she got zapped. So we're going to do those rolls later. Normally, his second receipt would get the repair rolls go 15 minutes, an hour, 2 hours. Normally, his second roll would be an hour. These 3 broken down rolls. However, when you break down something into multiple rolls, it takes significantly more time. The rules say significantly more time, so I'm just going to double it. So he's going to take 2 hours. So Kobe's going to be working on IG for a while. Sai helps move IG into the shelter of the ship in the meantime. Bomber, hobbling about with servo problems as he's been packed with dirt, states the obvious. They could just leave. Sai agrees. The Z-95s modified can carry two persons or person-sized droids. They have droid hardpoints, just like X-Wings, and they have small cargo bays, just like X-Wings. They could all load up on the vehicles and be gone. 3Z chirps firmly. We can't abandon her. Hardshell saved us. This crash would have taken us all offline, but Hardshell sacrificed herself so we could function. We can't abandon her. Bomber makes a rude noise, while Sai remains quiet. Gunky shuffles nervously. Ellie steps in, stating, 3Z, the ship is destroyed. There is no restoration possible. 3Z makes an angry noise, indicating Hardshell is not entirely destroyed. Her core is no different than ours. She has backup redundancies, and I've been able to restore just enough power to keep her core online. Ellie counters, that is admirable, but what can we do out there in the wilderness? We have no repair facilities, no parts. We have parts, 3Z counters. The Z-95s have parts. Ellie looks around the room. We must decide our course then. As with all decisions that affect the group, we will vote. IG is unable to respond, however, I imagine his vote would be against restoring the ship. Everyone else? 3Z votes for. Bomber is against, which makes it 2 against 1. 3Z makes a rude noise at his fellow astromech. Gunky and Kobe abstain. They are non-confrontational and don't want friction. Sai takes a deep breath and frowns before casting his vote. 4. He smiles and nods at 3Z. It falls to Ellie to break the tie. She looks down at the inert IG tended to by Kobe, the damaged bomber, 3Z still nursing some damage from Cormina. 4, she states simply, nodding to 3Z. Bomber makes a rude noise while 3Z cheers. They will restore the ship. We begin our next scene. Bomber and Sai will strike out to cannibalize. They'll go get one of the Z-95 headhunters, bring it back to the ship so that 3Z can cannibalize it for parts and start restoring aspects of the ship. Most notably, the priority is going to be restore the power, and we'll go from there. So they have struck out for the first Z-95 headhunter. They know in talking to Vol, questioning him, that the fighters are both north and south. They're not far, easy to find, no rolls necessary. And Sai and Bomber have ventured out, and they have located one of the fighters in a small clearing. And Bomber, being a pilot, which should be a simple matter for him to fly the ship back over to the clearing, well, the improvised clearing where Hardshell has been downed. So they enter the clearing. As they're taking in the arboreal surroundings, great trees standing against a pale backdrop of night. Let's see, Sai needs to make a roll. As you can see, it is a 7. The difficulty was very easy, 1 through 5. So he makes his roll, and immediately he stops, and he stops Bomber. And Bomber's like, why are you stopping? What's going on? There's something here. Bomber attempts to get his sensor suite up and operational. However, he's still got dirt in every servo, so he's not detecting a whole lot. About that time, Sai stares up into the treetops, and he sees figures there moving. They begin to swarm as they feel they have been detected. Coming from out of the trees are Minox. And they can see now, as the Minox swarm over the starfighter, they can see that there has been markings on the ship, specifically near where the power relays are. They almost look like acid melted or some sort of suctiony cup damage to it. Sai immediately ignites his lightsaber. With his life sense is normally used to detect sentient beings and discover their intent and so on and so forth. But we have seen in numerous Star Wars media that can extend to non-sentient life and kind of get a sense. So he senses that they're predatory. He doesn't know what they are, but he's just kind of like, okay, they're not friends. He ignites his lightsaber, which actually attracts them. Now, they have pretty good move and flight. We're going to say they come from the edge here, and they can move 9, so we'll do So one moves here, another here. We'll say one lands on the ship. We'll say that they were initially disturbed, flew up into the treetops when these two arrived, and now that they're here, the Minox are kind of sensing that maybe these guys aren't too much of a threat. Let's go back to eating. So these two land on the ship. These two are kind of swirling around. They're not real sure what's going on just yet. Sai will attempt to intimidate unskilled, and that is under knowledge, if I'm not mistaken. Let's check that. Hold on one second. So yes, Sai approaches, partial move. Where he's moving and attempting to intimidate. He wants to scare them off. He doesn't want to engage them. He does not have the intimidate skill, but he has a knowledge of 2d plus 1, so he's just going to roll that. And what this does is sets the difficulty for the willpower check of the opposing forces, which are Minox in this. He rolls a 7. Not terribly impressive. But Minox don't even have a knowledge skill. We're going to assume it's 1d, like all their other skills, except for dexterity. They rolled 3. They are intimidated. They tend to, they're going to partial move back once it's their turn. Sai gets the initiative because his perception is higher than theirs. Now it falls to Balmer. Balmer is just going to hang back and watch to see what happens. He's holding his action. As I said, the Minox have been intimidated. They failed their will. They're going to partial move back. Just kind of. They're not real sure what's going on here. Okay, so that was round 1. Round 2, Sai is going to again move up a little bit, continue to menace them with his lightsaber. He's rolling 2d. And he has an A plus 1. 9 is the target number for the Minox to resist. And since they only have one die, it's highly. And they roll a natural 1 on the luck dice, so they are gone. Sai has successfully scared off the Minox from the ship. They tell the Bomber, I think we should get in the ship and get out of here. So they're going to load up the Z95. Bomber is going to make a piloting check. Normally, I wouldn't require a roll just for flying. However, he's trying to maneuver the Z95 into the very narrow clearing that the freighter has been downed in. He has starfighter piloting of 6D, and he can prepare. You can have another D if you need it. So I'm going to say, this is going to, it would normally be an easy task to just to land something. I'm going to bump it up to very easy. I'm not going to worry about prep, but very easy just because he's trying to land in such a narrow space. He rolls a natural 6 on the luck die. So there's 10, 19, 21, 25, 28 total. He shoots past the difficulty. He floats that Z95 down like it is on rails. Bomber and Sai disembark from the headhunter. They come and meet 3Z at the crash site. 3Z immediately sizes up the fighter and starts deciding what pieces he needs to cannibalize from it to get Hardshell back in operation. Sai has a recommendation. If we can restore the communications, we can contact the people that were supposed to meet him there. Maybe they can come help. This motivates 3Z as that could potentially get the ship back online that much quicker. Now, he needs to make a communications roll. Actually, he's going to make 2 rolls. He's going to make a space transports repair roll, and his new ability is 4D plus 2. And normally this would be, we're gonna set the difficulty at moderate. At moderate. Let's see here. If he can get the communications up and running. 7, 8, 9, 10. That is insufficient to moderate. It's going to take him some time, and he's going to need to move, probably a generator to restore enough power to run the communications and such. That's going to take a little bit of time. So in the interminable, in the meantime, Bomber and Sai are going to go off and get the other Z95. They arrive at the other clearing where they find the second Z95. It has been significantly less messed with in the interim. Let's see here. Sai is going to do his life detection. Very easy. He rolls a natural 6 on the luck die because why not? 10 total. He doubles the absolute maximum difficulty in sensing it, and he is aware that there is a Minoc here. However, one Minoc by itself is not brave. It is not going to mess with them. So they'll be able to retrieve the fighter without any real fanfare. We're going to roll for Bomber piloting. See if he can work with magic again. Looks like it. 12, 15, 19. Yes, he soars past the difficulty and he manages to park the second Z95 in the clearing for 3Z to begin cannibalizing. So, back at the base camp. Everyone has arrived. We're all hanging out. Sai's telling Bomber he was very brave. So, we need to make a roll. 3Z needs to start cannibalizing parts. The most important part, which Sai will be able to help with, is transferring fusion reactors from one ship to the other. Now, obviously, Z95 reactors are not designed for freighters. However, all that's going to do is set the difficulty at moderate instead of easy. So, space transports repair 40 plus 2. It's been about an hour. 3Z's making his second roll, and he rolls a natural 1 on the luck die. So there is a complication. They hook up the power. They manage to get the power activated. However, very similar to the Disaster in Space episode, the power is not designed for the ship. There is backlash, there is sparking and arcing, and there's feedback and such. The power comes on very briefly. And in that time, with 3D, 3Z is going to use his communication skills to send out the message to the drop point contact they were provided when they picked up this contract. And he's going to roll another natty 1 on the luck die. Man, this is just not working. So, a signal goes out. He is unsure if it is received. He is unsure if it's the correct one. However, as soon as he gets that out, the system overloads and shorts. So he is going to spend the next hour attempting to try to bring the system back online, at least temporarily. This is going to drive the difficulty from moderate up to difficult. He's actually going to take, instead of it being 1 hour, he's going to take 2 hours. And he's going to attempt some breaking down of the repairs. He's going to add some CPs, character points to the roll. So he's going to have the prep 1 die. He's going to have 2 dice. So he's going to have 3 additional dice total, because he's going to spend some character points in doing that. So before that happens, within 1 hour, Sai is making a life detection roll. Now, the difficulty for this is going to be significantly lower because they're out in the middle of the woods. The only life round is himself and the wildlife. So the droids don't confuse his detection abilities. He rolls a 7. Difficulty was very easy, so that is a success. He's becoming increasingly aware of there were Minocs in the area. There were several. However, they seem to have cleared out. So he is, there's a bereft circle of life he's detecting, and this forest is gone very quiet, and he's becoming uneasy. There's a shadow and a threat looming in his mind. So he is outside trying to calm his nerves while everybody works on stuff inside. As meanwhile, inside, we have some difficult rolls to make for Kobe. Kobe will normally have 3D. However, he's prepped, so he has an extra D, and he's going to spend some CP, some character points. So he has an enormous dice pool, and he's going to make 3 rolls. They're all the same difficult. The first roll, 19, 20, 22. That is a success. There is life in IG as he continues to poke and prod and restore servos and so on and so forth. His second roll, 6, 11, 12, 13. 13 is insufficient. He fails at the second roll. We'll see what happens with the third roll. We know IG will not be back up and fully functional just yet. But there's life in the old IG unit. There's 10, 14, 17 total. That is barely inside the difficulty. So basically, what we have is a partially functional IG, the same as Ellie was before. He can vocalize and he's aware of his surroundings. However, his movement is absolutely almost non-existent. He can move one space a turn and he cannot engage in combat. Or if he is forced to, all his difficulties are going to be raised. So yeah. So IG is not of great help in this situation, and the situation is a little tense. Outside, Sai is going to make another light detection. He rolls a 6. That is a success. He is aware there is something out there. And even before he becomes aware of the sense of it, there is impact tremors being felt. They're subtle, but they're there. There is something out there, and it is circling them. And its intent appears to be predatory. He unhooks his lightsaber and ignites it. Takes up a defensive stance. It is not within sight just yet, but he's fairly certain, yeah, it'll be in sight very soon. So we're going to do a roll real quickly. Actually, no, we're going to go straight into it. All right. It approaches from the west. Actually, no, it approaches from the east, stomping and thumping, pushing trees out of the way as it goes. It comes into the clearing. Huge gargantuan. Sai immediately backs the hell up. He's just kind of like, oh my, it is huge. He is only a Padawan learner. He does not have the full range of Jedi abilities. He is going to roll willpower, which he is skilled in, and he has 3 dice. This is to avoid panicking and behaving in a manner unbecoming to a Jedi. And he rolls a 12. That is an excellent roll. Uh, for a moment, he's highly intimidated and just kind of like, oh, wow, okay. He stands his ground, though, masters himself. He tells everyone, stay in the ship. But of course, some curious looks outside. Bomber in particular is just kind of like, does some twittering and screaming in droid language, just like, oh god, it's a monster. Which, yes, it is. The monster itself does not appear to be honing in on Sai in particular. It kind of, it's checking out. It's checking out the ship. It is intrigued by the ship. And Sai's kind of like, normally I wouldn't care, but we need this ship. Sai's going to attempt an intimidate, unskilled intimidate. We got 2D plus 1. He rolls a 7 difficulty. I'm going to say this thing is going to have a very easy roll. It's going to have 3 dice to resist this with. If it even notices him. It's an 8. That's going to be his difficulty. No, it is not intimidated by the tiny speck with its tiny little lightsaber. So it is continuing to come over the ship. It's checking stuff out. And Sai's just kind of like, okay, I tried the non-violent, but I need you to stay away from the ship. He's going to attempt lightsaber combat. This is not important as far as just going to give him some extra dice. He needs to make a control difficulty at moderate. He has 2 dice. And he rolls a 7. That is not good enough. So he will not be able to add his sense dice to his lightsaber combat. That's fine. He has a 5D plus 2. Obviously, he went up his last adventure, spent some CPs improving his lightsaber since he had such a heroic, awesome moment cutting Vol's blaster in half. See previous episode. He's going to attempt to strike at the monster. It's a base DC 20 with a lightsaber, and it's melee range. So, and oh boy, 1921 plus, yes, plus 2, so 23 total. He absolutely slashes at the beast. He's doing 5D damage, no additional damage because he did not make a lightsaber combat roll. 11 damage. Now, the beast itself, let's see, 4, 5, 6, has an enormous amount of dice to resist. Oh, and it rolls a natural 6 on the luck die, so 8, 14, 20, 24, 30. It resists up to 30 points of damage. So even though Sai slashes at the monster. It cuts through the monster's hide. It is such an insignificant weapon to the monster. It just kind of, he annoys it. He doesn't actually deal any worthwhile combat effective damage. He just annoys the giant creature. And so the creature is continuing to try to find the power sources on this the ship. It seems very interested in finding out where the power is. It has a chance of squashing Sai. Sai needs to make a dodge roll, which he does not have. So he's going to make an unskilled dex check. 3d plus 1. 7, 8, 9, 10. Good enough to scamper out of the way. He moves out of the way as the monster begins moving aft to where the fusion generators were taken and where they have overloaded, but they're still. The fusion generators themselves are fine. The ship itself does not have power. The problem is in the connection, not the devices. So, this giant monster is trying to find its way in and get a piece of that juicy power. So, Sai is just kind of like, oh, the droids inside are panicking and hiding. This is a gargantuan threat. IG is of no use. They are not going to engage if they have an absolute any choice, and there's no way for them to escape. So it's up to Sai to do something. He's going to step forward. He's going to attempt to hit this beast again. He's going to attempt his lightsaber combat again. Oh, natural 6 on the luck die. Oh, God. He might do it. 10 plus 1, 12, 11. Just enough. Yes, just enough. He's actually succeeded in his lightsaber combat. He now adds his sense of 2d plus 1 to his dice pool to hit and damage. So, we normally have 5d. Now he has 7d. 7d plus 2. And he absolutely, there's 10, 21, 22, 23, 25. He absolutely hits. And he rolls 7 dice damage this time. Oh, natural 1 on the luck die? Why? Okay. We're going to rule that that's a complication instead of taking dice away. 27. So he does 27 damage. The creature resists, natural 6 on the luck die, of course. 18, 20, 31, 35. So the creature resists all the damage. So even though Sai slashes into the thing, deals more damage to it, it is just annoyed. It is actually going to lash out with its 3D dex, untrained brawling, and try to just, kind of smack this annoying gnat away. There's your complication. It rolled an 11. It's 11 to hit. Sai is going to attempt to dodge. Unskilled, 3D plus 1. 13. 15. Okay, he manages to roll out of the way of this gigantic leg just kind of snapping out behind him. He comes up in a Jedi protective stance and realizes, this is what am I supposed to do here? Coming low in over the tree line is another not a Z95, but another fighter, basically of that classification, an older fighter. It's been refurbished, and it takes basically the precursor to the U-wing, if you want to think about it that way. And it takes up a holding pattern, seeing this gigantic creature, menacing and starting to gnaw on the poor space transport, and it begins to open fire. The blast hit the monster's thick hide. It roars. And is highly annoyed but can't get to the flying ship. So, it's just kind of like, you know what? This is too much trouble. This is too many calories. And it's going to toddle off into the woods. It's been driven away. It's going to go find easier prey somewhere else. The fusion reactors from these 2 starfighters inside this thing weren't exactly worth it anyway. Sai shields his eyes, and a light transport fighter lands slowly to the north in precisely the same clearing Vol utilized with the C-95 earlier. Sai continues to guard in front of the downed freighter in spite of the fact whoever is within the vehicle clearly just saved their lives. Figures become visible at the edge of the clearing. Vol? No. No, these are a ragtag band of disparate races. Their equipment is dirty but well maintained. They're dressed universally in camouflage, blending in with the native environment. A rough looking human male approaches. Who are you? He asks Sai. Sai extinguishes his lightsaber and answers. Sai Cordova. These are my friends. That's their ship. Are you the people I've been sent to hide with? Oh, yes, there was a code phrase, I have friends everywhere. The man nods and answers the appropriate phrase. You've got friends here too. I'm Rouse Aldor, Brigade Commander. Master Corvus contacted us over a week ago. Where have you been, boy? That's a long story, Sai smiles. He indicates the droids. These droids saved me. I'm only here because of their sacrifices. Well, come on, the man answers. Your droids can come too, I suppose. Sai looks around at the droids. 3Z in particular stands just inside the landing door to the ship. What about their ship? What about it? Holdor answers flatly. It's scrap, look at it. We have to move. It's not safe out here. Almost 5 is a dangerous planet. The only reason we've been able to hide out here as long as we have. 3Z makes a defiant noise. The other droids stand near him, unmoving. Sai spans the distance between the two worlds and makes a choice. We're not going. We're not going unless you can restore their ship. They deserve that much for all they've done for me. Boy? The commander begins, exasperated. That ship is wrecked. Look at it. It's a miracle it has power at all. I'm not leaving, Sai states flatly. I leave with my friends and their ship, or not at all. Holder removes his camo hat, slapping it against his side in overwhelming frustration. He stands quiet for a moment, his patrol shifting nervously nearby. Finally, he seems to come to a decision. Fine, fine. Lanthro, contact the base. Tell them we need a heavy hauler. Pull a wrecked ship out of the dirt. And so, we conclude the Season 2 premiere of The Hardcasers. Yes, I finally settled on a name for our crew, along with a name for their ship, the Hardshell. Our valiant crew has survived another round of dangers and seemingly found their way into a better spot than they began. Or have they? Who is this mysterious Rouse Holdor? And how does he know Sai's master? Who is this brigade he commands? Can they be trusted? Or will they sell Sai out to the Empire? Y'all have to tune in next week to find out, and I hope to see you there. Thank you, everyone who took a moment to come check out another of these solo play videos I'm doing. I appreciate it more than words can say, so I'll just say thank you very, very much. If I've entertained you, please consider giving this video a like and subscribe if you want to see more of this content. It's y'all that keep this show going, and I hope to continue entertaining you all as time goes by. I'll see you all in a week. Have a good one.